Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Miss Johnson's Read Aloud Time, where we read from our new chapter book, The One and Only Ivan. So we're on part 4 of The One and Only Ivan, and we have gotten to know Mac, and we've gotten to know Bob a little bit, and a little bit of Stella, and something's happening, so we're going to kind of see what happens next. Hope you like it. Let's get started. Not sleepy. Stella, I say after Julia and her brother go home, I can't sleep. Of course you can, she says. You are the king of sleepers. Shh, Boss says from his perch on my belly. I'm dreaming about chili fries. I'm tired, I say, but I'm not sleepy. What are you afraid of? What are you tired of? Stella asks. I think for a while. It's hard to put into words. Gorillas are not complainers. We're dreamers, poets, philosophers, and nap takers. I don't know exactly. I kick my tire swing. I think I may be a little tired of my domain. That's because it's a cage, Bob tells me. Bob is not always tactful. I know, Stella says. It's a very small domain. And you're a very big gorilla, Bob adds. Stella, I ask? Yes. I noticed you were limping more than usual today. Is your leg bothering you? Just a little, she answers. I sigh. Bob wrestles. His ears slick. He drools a bit. But I don't mind. I'm used to it. Try eating something, Stella says. That always helps me, makes me happy. I eat an old brown carrot. It doesn't help, but I don't tell Stella. She needs to sleep. You could try remembering a good day, Stella suggests. That's what I do when I can't sleep. Stella remembers every moment since she was born. Every scent, every sunset, every sunlight, every victory. You know I can't remember much, I say. There's a difference, Stella said gently, between can't remember and won't remember. That's true, I admit. Not remembering can be difficult, but I've had a lot of time to work on it. Memories are precious, Stella adds. They help all of us see who we are. Try remembering all your keepers. You always liked Carl, the one with the harmonica. Carl, yes. I remember how he gave me a coconut when I was still a juvenile. It took me a day to open it. I try to recall other keepers. I have known the humans who cleaned my domain and prepared my food and sometimes kept me company. There was Juan, who poured Pepsis in my waiting mouth, and Katrina, who used to poke me with a broom when I was sleeping, and Ellen, who sang, How much is the monkey in the window, with a sad smile while she scrubbed my water bowl. And there was Gerald, who once bought me a box of fat, sweet strawberries. Gerald was my favorite keeper. I hadn't had a real keeper in a long time. Max says he doesn't have the money to pay for an 8 babysitter. These days, George cleans my cage and Mac is the one who feeds me. When I think about all the people who have taken care of me mostly, it's Mac I recall, day in and day out, year after year after year. Mac who bought me and raised me and says I'm no longer cute. As if a silverback could ever be cute. Moonlight falls on the frozen carousel, on the silent popcorn stand, and on the stand of leather belts that smell like long-gone cows. The heavy work of Stella's breathing sounds like the wind in trees, and I wait for sleep to find me. The beetle. Mac gives me a new black crayon with a fresh pile of paper. It's time to work again. I smell the crayon, rolled it around in my hands, press the sharp point against my palm. There's nothing I love more than a new crayon. I search my domain for something to draw. What is black? An old banana peel would work, but I've eaten them all. Not Tag is brown. My little pool is blue. The yogurt raisin I'm saving for the afternoon is white, at least on the outside. Something moves in the corner. I have a visitor. A shiny beetle has stopped by. Bugs often wander through my domain on their way to somewhere else. Hello, beetle, I say. He freezes, silent. Bugs never want to chat. The beetle's an attractive bug with a body like a glossy nut. He's black as a starless night. That's it. I'll draw him. It's hard making a picture of something new. I don't get the chance that often, but I try. I look at the beetle who's being kind and not move. Then back at my paper. I draw his body, his legs, a little antenna, his sour expression. I'm lucky the beetle stays all day. Usually bugs don't linger when they visit. I'm beginning to wonder if he's feeling all right. Bob, who's been known for too much for bugs from time to time, offers to eat him. I tell Bob it won't be necessary. I'm just finishing my last picture when Mac returns. George and Julia are with him. Mac enters the domain and picks up the drawing. What the heck is this, he says. Beats me what Ivan thinks he's drawing. This is a picture of nothing. A big black nothing. Julia's standing just outside the domain. Can I see? She asks. Mac holds out the picture to the window. Julia tilts her head. She squeezes one eye. Then she opens her eye and scans the domain. I know, she explains. It's the beetle. See the beetle over there by Ivan's pool? Man, I just sprayed this place for bugs. Mac walks over to the beetle and lifts his foot. Before Mac can stomp, the beetle skitters away, disappearing into the crack in the wall. Mac turns back to my drawing. So you figure this is a beetle, huh? If you say so, kid. Oh, that's a beetle for sure, Julia says, smiling at me. I know a beetle when I see one. It's nice, I think, having a fellow artist around. And there's his little beetle friend. Change. Stella is the first to notice change, but soon we all feel it. A new animal is coming to the Big Top Mall. How do we know this? Because we listen, we watch, and most of all, we sniff the air. Humans always smell odd when change is in the air, like rotten meat or a hint of papaya. Guessing. Bob fears our new neighbor will be a giant cat with splintered eyes and a coiled tail. But Stella says a trunk will arrive this afternoon carrying a baby elephant. How do you know? I ask. I sample the air, but all I smell is caramel corn. I love caramel corn. I can hear her, Stella says. She's crying for her mother. I listen. I hear the cars charging past. I hear snores in the sun bears in the wire domain, but I don't hear elephants. You're just hoping, I say. Stella closes her eyes. No, she says softly. Not hoping. Not at all. Jambo. My TV is off, so while we wait for the new neighbor, I ask Stella to tell us a story. Stella rubs her front foot against the wall. Her foot is swollen again, an ugly deep red. If you're not feeling well, Stella, you could take a nap and tell us a story later. I'm fine, she says, carefully shifting her weight. Tell us the Jumbo story. It's a favorite of mine, but I don't think Bob has ever heard it. Because she remembers everything. Stella knows many stories. I like colorful tales with black beginnings and stormy middles and cloudless blue sky endings. But any story will do. I'm not in a position to be picky. Once upon a time, Stella began, there was a human boy. He was visiting a gorilla family in a place called a zoo. What's a zoo? Bob asks. He's a street smart dog, but there is much he hasn't seen. A good zoo, Stella says, is a large domain. A wild cage, a safe place to be. It has room to roam and humans who don't hurt. She pauses, considering her words. A good zoo is how humans make amends. Stella moves a bit, groaning softly. The boy stood on the wall, she continues, watching, pointing, but he lost his balance and fell into the wild cage. Humans are clumsy, I interrupt. If only they would not go walk, they wouldn't topple over so often. Bella nods. A good point, Ivan. In any case, the boy lay in a motionless heap while the humans gasped and cried. The silverback, whose name was Jumbo, examined the boy with his duty, as it was his duty, while his troop watched from a safe distance. Jumbo stroked the child gently. He smelled of boy's pain, and then he stood watch. When the boy awoke, the humans cried out, "Stay still, don't move!" Because they were certain, humans are always certain about things, that Jumbo would crush the boy's life from him. The boy moaned. The crowd waited, hushed, expecting the worst. Jumbo led his troop away. Men came down on ropes and whisked the child in waiting arms. Was the boy all right? Bob asked. He wasn't hurt, Stella says, although I wouldn't be surprised if his parents hugged him many times that night in between their scoldings. Bob, who's still chewing on his tail, pauses, tilting his head. Is that a true story? I always tell the truth, Stella replies, although I sometimes confuse the facts. Lucky. I've heard the Jumbo story many times. Stella says that humans found it odd that the huge silverback didn't kill the boy. Why, I wonder, was it so surprising? The boy was young, scared, alone. He was, after all, just another great ape. Bob nudges me with his nose. Ivan, he says, why aren't you and Stella in a zoo? I look at Stella. She looks at me. She smiles sadly with her eyes, just a little, the way only elephants can do. Just lucky, I guess, she says. Arrival. The new neighbor arrives after a 4 o'clock show. When the trunk comes lumbering toward the parking lot, Bob scampers off to inform us. Bob always knows what's happening. He's a useful friend to have, especially when you can't leave your domain. With a groan, Mac lifts the sliding metal door near the food court. the place where deliveries are made. A big white truck is backing into the door, belching smoke. When the driver opens the truck, I know that Stella is right. A baby elephant is inside. I see her trunk poking out from the blackness. I'm glad for Stella, but when I glance at her, I see she is not glad. Stand back, everyone, Mac yells. We've got a new arrival. This is Ruby, folks. 600 pounds of fun to save our sorry butts. The gal is going to sell us some tickets. Mac and two men climb into the back of the cave. In the trunk, where her noise, scuffling, a word Mac uses when he's angry. Ruby makes a noise too, like one of the little trumpets they sell at the gift shop. Move, Mac says, but there still is no Ruby. Move, he says again. We haven't got all day. Inside her domain, Stella paces as much as she's able. 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other. She slaps her trunk against the rusty ball. Metal bars, she grumbles. Stella, I asked, did you hear the baby? Stella mutters something under her breath, a word she uses when she's angry. Relax, Stella, I say. It will be okay. Ivan, Stella says, it will never, ever be okay. And I know enough to stop talking. All right, so that's the end of part 4 of the one and only Ivan. So Ruby has officially arrived, this elephant here on the cover. Curious what you think. Why do you think Stella is upset that Ruby has arrived? It's another elephant. Kind of makes me curious what you have to think. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon. Bye.